All right. Good morning. I see some people joining us. It's almost afternoon. We're at 11:29, and as we said in the email, if people show up late, people have to leave early. That's cool, but we're going to start at 11:30 and wrap up at 11:58. If for any reason we end up going late, we'll do a dismissal at 11:58, and say, hey, we still have one more thing to talk about if you want to stick around. But we will absolutely abide by that 11:30 to 11:58 time frame for everybody. So you guys can plan that. If you have classes or meetings to be at, that's why we're adding at 11:58. If you've got a noon meeting, you can still make that. That's our goal here. All right. All right, we are at 11:30, at least that's what I've got. So let's get started. Welcome everybody. How's our day going? As everybody is busy eating wings and has no intention of talking. Good for you all.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I like that. Jeff, you've got your own add-in. Good for you. Nice background picture.
Thank you.
Well played, sir. All right, so we're going to go over Panopto. We're going to try and kind of do a couple of minutes on each point just to give everybody an overview of here's what you can do in Panopto. If you have a basic question, we will be thrilled and happy to answer it. If you've got one of those questions that everyone always asks in each training about, I've got this class and I've got some high school and some non-high school, and so I want to make the recording, go ahead and ask the question or put it in the chat or something, but the odds are quite high that I'll say, excellent question, Joan, let's talk after the session is ended, because that's not a question that we can answer in the 45 seconds that we have. But other than that, please chime in. If you need me to repeat something, great, but otherwise our goal is to just get through it and finish up at 11:58. For those here or recording, we're going to try and do this for the entire quarter for the next 8 weeks, I believe. And each one of them is going to be a half an hour, and each one is going to be a single topic. And we'll try and do that. We will always make the recordings available, which is why I have it set on auto record. So unless something screwy happens, we'll make the recordings available to you if you can't make it. And whatever handouts we have, we will send out to everybody. And Colin is going to start putting all of these on a dedicated web page, so you can actually go into our trainings web page and see the entire list of trainings, what's upcoming, and the links to all the resources. So that is, I guess, now that Jeff got me in the mood for an ad, that's my ad. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to share screen, and we're just going to walk through the basics of Panopto. And there we are. Oh, nice ugly mug. Way to go, Tim. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is the number one thing that people use Panopto for is just to record their Zoom classes. And I don't know how everybody's doing it. Some people are recording it manually. Some people are setting up in advance. I know some people are going to the cloud. Some people are recording their to their desktop. Here's the way that we recommend. If there's a reason that this doesn't work for you, like you for some reason want the recordings physically on your hard drive, you can ignore that. We're going to walk through kind of what we recommend. So the first thing is to schedule your class in Canvas. So you go into whatever class you're at and you click on Zoom. And the nice thing is I'll get emails from people saying, what do I need to do in order to set this integration up? And the great thing is it's already set up, so you don't have to do a single thing. So is everybody looking at a Zoom screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to click on, and all of your faces are blocking it, the schedule a new meeting. And I'm not going to enter stuff because of time, so I'm going to leave it with this, but you could give a description. Again, if you want something for your students, this is for first quarter students to attend or something like that, or this is optional. You put that in, you put your duration. Just because I get this question occasionally, this is not mandated. It's not going to stop the recording after 1 hour, but that's so that people understand when they're scheduling it. Oh, it's from 11:30 to 12:30. Okay, so we've got our time zone. The one that we care the most about is recurring meeting. So if it's every Tuesday, I would make that weekly. If it's something like I know Jeff does and it's Monday through Friday, we could do it daily, repeat every day, every other day. So I'm going to make it very simple. I'm going to go weekly on every Wednesday. And since we said 8, I'm going to say after 8 occurrences and click that. So does that make sense to everybody? Any questions there? Hearing none, he goes on. You've got some other things here about security. We'll skip that and get to the key meeting options. You want to click on record the meeting automatically, because that's the whole point of this training we're doing, is how to get this class into Canvas. So click on record the meeting automatically and click in the cloud. It's going to go to Zoom and then go back to Panopto and into Canvas. So you do not need to worry about space and storage. That doesn't impact this because we have an unlimited plan, at least for now, with Panopto. So there is no issue with that. So go ahead and record it to the cloud and then click on save. And here comes the key. I have clicked on that. Does everybody see where it says meeting ID? I am going to either print this page out or copy and paste it, or as I'm doing right now, manually writing it down, because we are going to need that in a few seconds. We have a great tip sent to us by Roland about how to automate this so that we can automatically put it into your course. And we are going to need that meeting ID in order to do that. We'll show you how to do it, but it's going to say meeting ID. We type this in, and then it will take the recording and automatically put it into Roland's Broadcasting 202 course, for example. Okay, but any questions on the setting it up in Zoom? Hearing crickets again, I assume everybody is awesome and wonderful. The thing to be aware of this is if you're not doing it, is it's now in there. The nice thing about this is it puts it in your calendar, it puts it in your students' calendar, it puts it in the to-do list. So your students can get to the meetings very easy, and it's put right there so that they can do it, okay? So that's the benefit of scheduling it in Zoom, and that's the whole point of the integration is you're working through Canvas and your students are working through Canvas. No one's having to log into Zoom, okay? So let's do that. Let's see, anything else? Oh, yeah. So just real quickly, it'll happen automatically. I get emails quite frequently saying, hey, I got this email from Zoom saying, click on this link to view your recording and the Zoom is dead. In fact, some of you may have sent me that email. When you get the email from Zoom, completely ignore that. That recording no longer exists. As we just said, it takes it from Zoom and moves it into Canvas. When it does that, it's no longer on Zoom. So that email that you get, 5 minutes later is completely worthless. Go ahead and delete it. Okay. Okay, so our next step is how to move it and automate it so it goes to the same class every time. So if you go into Panopto recordings, you'll see recordings. And does everybody see this little square with an arrow that says open in Panopto? So we're going to click on that. And that will take us to the Panopto server. By the way, if you see the beginning of that URL, it's bates.hosted.panopto.com. You can access it directly from there also. But if you don't remember the bates.hosted.panopto.com, you can just go into Panopto and click on that Go to Panopto link. Okay, so everybody sees the Panopto page, correct? And everyone sees my name up here in the top right corner. You might have to move thumbnails if you're looking at people right now, but in this top right corner, you see my name, Tim Trussler, and I click on it and we see user settings. All right. And now I'm going to actually need a definite thumbs up or yes, because pop-up windows are always a question in sharing. Does everyone see user settings right now?
Yes.
Yes, good, because sometimes pop-up windows don't show up. So the nice thing about this, so you go into user settings, you don't have to go to a different screen or anything, but everybody sees meeting import settings down here. And you have meeting ID, and I actually have one already. Yours will be blank. But if right here you click on add new, and I previously wrote down 823-5745-7699. So that was the meeting ID from the course that we created 5 minutes ago, the recurring meeting, and we only have to do it once. And you pick your class. I'm going to put mine in old RCE class and then click on save. That's it. Okay. We go through, we do that one time, and now the benefit is we set that up for every single Wednesday at noon. Every single Wednesday, it's going to take that recording and automatically put it into old RCE class in the Panopto recordings link, so you can immediately see it there, and you don't have to do the move it in or import it or change the settings or any of that stuff. You do it one time, and now the entire meeting, all 8 of them, are going to show up automatically for your students in the Panopto recording. Okay? So any questions on that? Does that make sense? Do I need to do it a second time? Brian is quick on the thumbs up today. I love you, Brian. Thank you, man. That's awesome.
Actually, Tim, I have a question.
Yes.
When you set that up, can you scroll back to where I can see that? The folder name, the folder name came in automatically. So what would we normally see if we wanted to assign that to?
Okay, let's put a different class. Let's 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I have to type in an actual one because otherwise I'll get an error message. 7699. So if it doesn't auto-populate, that's a great question, Roland. Thank you. If it doesn't auto-populate, let me type in like new RCE class. So you start typing, and now do you see how it's auto-filling, or are you guys not seeing the pop-up window? Okay, so if you don't see it, you would type it in, and as soon as you type in enough, you know, like if you type in PNUR, that's probably not going to be enough. But once you type in PNUR 132, then you might see winter, summer, spring. Please make sure you get the right quarter there. That's a real easy mistake to make. But I'm going to put it in, for my sake, in new RCE class, so it doesn't have to be the default, and click on save. And as we got an error message because it already exists, I'd have to delete out the other one. Okay, but that's all you would do. So is that good, Roland? Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so I really want to stress this. Thank you, Roland, for pointing it out to me, because we showed you a bunch of different ways, like 3 different ways to do it. If you haven't done this, if you have weird stuff, weird schedules and stuff like that, this doesn't work. But if, like Roland said, we've got every Wednesday, I've got this meeting for the next 10 weeks, it's fabulous for that. You do it one time, and then all your stuff goes into it. So I really want to stress this as a huge time saver. And Roland has sung its praises already to me. So on behalf of Roland, I'll say it was fabulous. I did it once and I walked away and didn't have to touch it again. His words, not mine, but I agree. All right, so that takes us through those, how to auto import. All right. Then I think I'm going to skip pre-recording, and we may come back to that, but I'm going to stay with the flow as we're kind of talking. It's going to make a lot more sense. So all right, so is everybody looking at Panopto recordings and it's blank? This is what a lot of you have had happen. You record stuff and then you can't find your video. So it makes sense actually what Panopto is doing. They don't want to take your videos that you've just shot live and immediately make them available to your students. Something may have happened. You may have said something wrong. You may not want it. So they put in a private folder for you called My Recordings. So you're going to have to manually move it if you don't do that process that we just showed you. Because normally when you go into a class and click on Panopto recordings, it's going to be completely blank to your students. So what we do is over here under new RCE class, we have a drop down, and mine actually is called meeting recordings, but in yours it should be called My Recordings. And again, as Roland talked about, you start typing and it should come up if it's not in the auto drop down. and then you click on that. And sorry, mine is named differently. Yours is probably going to be called My Recordings, not Meeting Recordings, but it'll be My Recordings. And then we see all these recordings. If I want to move this one, I don't click on it, and everyone's going to make that mistake. You're going to click on it, and it'll start playing. Roland shaking said yes. Have you done that half a dozen times, Roland? Because I have. Put your mouse on it, and then just click on the settings button that appears. Okay, and what we're looking for is this line here that says folder meeting recordings. By the way, if you want to rename it, because a lot of you are going to have horrible names like PNUR 125, I can click on edit and call it, pharmacology doses and change the name as well. But we want to change the meeting recordings. And it's the exact same thing. So I click on that pop-up window. And again, if it's in the pop-up, great. If not, I start typing until it appears in my drop down, and I click it, and then I click save, and that's it. Okay, so now instead of being in my hidden folder, it's now going to be a new RCE class. And what you'll notice is as I close this, watch that video. Oops, I did not click on save. When I've been running into this problem, for some reason it's eating my save button. There we are. Okay, and as you notice, the video is now gone because it's no longer in this folder. It's now in, if we click on Panopto Recordings, there's my ugly mug. So everyone sees that? Okay, so that's how, if it's in that, we can move it anywhere. And as we just talked about, you can move it anywhere, okay? Even if I'm in this new RCE class, I can move it into PNUR 121. If Roland said, what a great video, I can move it into Broadcasting 101 for his students. But the key word there is moving. We're gonna show you in a second how to copy, but it's gonna remove it from where it's at and move it to somewhere else. But you can put it anywhere that you have access to. Again, if Roland wants to share it with Brian, he's gonna have to call me in because he doesn't have access to Brian's classes. But any class that Brian has access to, he can move it to any of Brian's classes. Hope you don't mind me referring to in the first person there, Brian. Brian is happy because Brian was able to move it into Brian's classes. All right, so let's show the kind of second part of this, which is, okay, Brian's recorded it. We'll use Brian again. Brian's recorded it. It worked fabulous in his Digit 101 class. In fact, it went so well, he wants to move it into Digit 102, or he wants to reuse it in Summer Digit 101. So basically, it's the exact same process with one initial step, which is we have to make a copy of it. Because as we said, when we move it, it removes it and moves it. So what we're going to do is make a copy and move it somewhere else. So I go into Settings. And by the way, for those of you furiously taking notes, I will send my notes on this. We will have the recording, and we will send the handout and post it on the web as well. So I go into this, but instead of the normal spot where I'm always looking overview, I'm going to click on this manage link in the left-hand side. And as soon as you click it, like if you're doing the thing where you can't remember and just click all of these, you'll notice right away it's the right one, because you see this nice handy-dandy copy session link right there, okay? If I want to, I can click copy. If you don't like the name of Tim Trussler's personal meeting room copy, I can change it to, Panopto. So you can change the name and then click on copy. Yes, I am sure. And then you'll notice that's exactly what we're going for. I've got Tim Trussler's personal reading room, which is now going to stay there in, let's call this Brian's Digit 101 class. And now Brian wants to move it into Digit 102. He's going to take the copy and follow the exact same process we said. I go into Settings. Again, I can rename it if I want. I click on Edit. And don't worry, I'm not actually going to do this, Brian, but I would click Digit 102 and move it into Brian's class. I'm going to move mine into only my classes, though. Okay. And then as soon as I do that, again, notice the second recording is gone because it's moved. My initial one is there. The copy is now moved into Digit 102. Okay. Pause for breath. That was a lot, but we kind of walked it through, and hopefully all of you have done parts of this, so we're just adding little pieces of knowledge along the way. Any questions at all? And I will monitor chat. It was already there. Or does anyone want to ask out loud? Any questions or anything you want reviewed? Okay, then what I'm going to do is put it into a different place in your course. And then if we have time, we'll also do the live recording, but this is the last thing that kind of follows the flow. So we've already put it in. What we did was we moved it into Panopto recordings, but one of the things you can do is take this and actually use the rich content editor to put it inside anywhere that uses the rich content editor. And you're welcome. I'm not actually going to quiz you guys, but what places use the rich content editor? You guys all know this because you've seen the toolbar up on top. Pages uses it, quizzes uses it, assignments, announcements, and discussion board. Those are the 5 places that use the RC. So I can take this video and embed it in that page. So if you find that your students aren't viewing your recordings and you want to make it a 10-point assignment, I can take this video and embed it in an assignment and say, watch this video and then answer the following 3 questions. I can embed it in a quiz. If I've created a how-to on how to do something, I can embed this video in a quiz, say, watch this video, and then there's a 10-question actual quiz, not just to make sure you did it, 10-question quiz on how to properly set up recording equipment or how to draw blood or how to wash your hands properly. You know, I can put it in an announcement. Good morning, everybody. Before we meet today, please view the following video. Put it right into there. So that's where the power comes on this. It's great to put in Panopto recordings. It's the same spot. Your students know where it is. That's fabulous. But you also have flexibility to put it in more targeted places. So I'm going to put mine in an assignment. So I click on assignment and then click on new assignment. And actually, this is ridiculously easy. So this is an assignment. Pretend I could type. Please watch the video. When you are done, please write 1 paragraph describing proper hand washing procedure. Blah, blah, blah. You guys are awesome. See you later. Okay. So pretend I actually knew how to type and that actually had words. The one heads up I'll give you, some of you have run this. How many of you run into the thing where once you embedded a video, it was really hard to move it around or delete it out and you ended up just deleting the page and starting over, okay? Because those embedded videos can be, and Panopto is one of them, they kind of stick and they're permanent. So one of the things I do is maybe put a few blank lines and then move up. So I've got some wiggle room above and below it in case after I enter, oh, I should have told everybody what the video was, or I should tell them it's due on Thursday. So I try very hard not to just open up a page and slap it on there unless I'm 100% certain. Okay, so you should have the Panopto logo right there in your toolbar. And I'll show you what to do in a second if it's not there. But if it's there, this is about as easy as it gets. I click on Panopto recordings. And there it is. I click on it. And if somebody says, well, wait, I want one from somewhere else. Again, I've got that pop-down window, which you guys are really sick of because this is about the 8th time I've gone to it already, but that's how you navigate Panopto. So I'm going to try and find something in my old RCE class. So I just type it. And notice, here's my videos from a completely different class that I can embed directly into here. So let's embed that good old ugly mug right there. And there you are. It's embedded directly into it. Okay? If you don't see this logo for any reason, it should be there. But are you guys aware of this app button? If you're not, please be using it. There's a lot of power in here. So if I click on it, it looks like a power cord or a plug. If I click on it, for example, Office 365 is there, which if you have a Bates Issues computer, first of all, we are so sorry for all the problems you guys are having, but this is a way to do a workaround with the inability to embed stuff. You can just use the Microsoft Office 365. But let's go worst case scenario. It is not here. It's not in your drop down. It will always be in View All. So if I click on, again, Apps, View All, and then scroll down, I'll see Panopto, and then I get back to the exact same page and go from there. But if you can't find your link, your logo, that's where it will be. Okay? All right. Again, any questions? That's the entire process. Other than, again, we have one more thing we may or may not get to that's kind of separate from the process, but you record your class, you automatically put it to the cloud, it automatically gets put into Canvas. You can directly put it into your PNUR 102 class if you choose that. You can move it around. You can make a copy and move it. You can embed it anywhere you see that RCE. Any questions on that? We walked you through it. Okay, I've got Roland's mug giving me a very satisfied, nope, I'm good. Everybody else good? Brian gives me my thumbs up, thank you.
I'm good. Thank you.
We're good, all right. Then that finishes it. What I'm gonna do is really quickly spend about 2 minutes and just show you guys recording live from Panopto, because I know some of you use Panopto, some of you use Camtasia, some of you use Screencast-O-Matic, so I don't want to spend an hour on this, but just show you real quickly. But the basic thing is, and I need to switch share here. And does everybody see the Panopto screen here? It says manage recordings. So the Mac and the PC interface are also different, which is why we're just doing a quick run through highlighting it. And there's a million different ways to get to it. You can go to the Panopto server, you can install it on your computer. This is also if you went into Panopto recordings and clicked on the record button up at the top. But one way or another, and there's multiple ways to do it, you get to the Panopto, okay? And I'm gonna click on create new recording. And again, this is pretty simple. Turning it on is actually the hardest part of it by far, okay? And so over here on the left-hand side, you see primary source. This is if you want your mug on the recording. If you say, ooh, no, thank you, turn it off and click on none. In this left-hand side, you have record PowerPoint and record Keynote. If I'm just gonna record narration, I make sure that's checked. If I'm using something like Word, I might uncheck it. And then over here, you have select a primary video source. This allows you to record your screen. So over here where it says none, I'm going to check built-in display. And then you're going to get this really, really creepy thing that happens because you're getting the mirror of the mirror of the mirror thing going on here that I'm sure all my broadcasting people are going, yep, because it's the screen, which has the screen inside of it, which has the screen inside of it. Don't freak out. It's fine, but that's what's getting here. And as soon as I go to PowerPoint or Word, or I want to navigate a website, it'll be fine. I'm going to click this to none to stop freaking everybody out. But that's it. You've got over here is audio and video to record your mug and your voice. Down here, you have PowerPoint or Keynote. And over here, you have record my monitor. And then I just click on the record button and off I go and it saves it. Okay. All right. And we're at 11:57. So last chance for questions, everybody.
I have a quick question, Tim.
Better be quick, my friend.
Okay. The video that can you start the video with your picture and then go back and click it off so that it's not in the way of on the screen? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, and I have no idea. That's an excellent question. I don't know if you have to record it separately. So we have the recording, and we will we'll get back to you on that. But I don't know if you can turn it off halfway through. My guess would be yes, but I'm not going to say yes, not knowing the answer. Okay. Other questions? All right. Colin has highlighted the link. We'll send that out to everybody once we have our handouts and that, but you can click on it now. We'll make the recording available to everybody because I know we flew through. That was kind of the point, so that if you know 90% of this, you can just go back to that 10% that you want to learn. Okay. Having said that, we are at 11:58 and I'm on vacation, so beat it, y'all. I'm going to go see Palm Springs. I'll send you a picture. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you and have fun.
All right.